Well, the biggest film festival in Korea and arguably the most recognized and celebrated film festival in Asia has begun. And it's not just a place for film buffs to spoil themselves with a great variety of movies from around the world.
That's right. It also serves as an important launch pad for many who are looking to get their foot in the door of the film industry. To tell us more about the ins and outs of this year's Busan International Film Festival, we connect to film critic Piers Conrad, who is standing by in Busan Cinema Center at the heart of the action.
Hello, Piers, and thank you for joining us today. I'm going to start with the big question first. Is Busan the Cannes of Asia?
Well, thanks for having me back. You know, it's a huge festival. People have been calling it the Cannes of Asia for a few years now. It's certainly the biggest festival in Korea. People say it's the biggest in Asia, and when you get here and there's all the pomp and circumstance, all the stars are out in their dazzling gowns on the red carpets. There's over 300 movies on the program, and looking at the way the shifting current of cinema coming towards the east, everything is certainly happening in Busan. It's a very exciting festival. It's definitely the Cannes of Asia. Is it anywhere near as big as Cannes? I wouldn't quite go so far, but the years coming ahead, who knows what will bring.
Okay, Piers, more exciting things that's happening in Busan is that we understand two star actors are set to make their directorial debut in Busan. So do we have a Ron Howard or a Mel Gibson in the making, Piers?
Well, only time will tell. You know, it's a funny thing because this seems to be kind of a trend that's been happening now in Busan. Last year, one of the biggest Korean actors, Yoo Ji-tae, who may be well known to viewers from films like Old Boy, debuted with his film My Ratsuma, and that was very well received. I enjoyed it very much myself. This year we have two. We have arguably one of the biggest stars in the country right now. Ha Jung-woo is a very well-known, charismatic lead from films. This year he was in The Terror Live and he was in The Berlin File, both very popular thrillers. So he's going behind the camera for his very first film, which he scripted and he made himself. It was on a relatively small budget, made it in a quick time. It seems like kind of a fun film. It's set in an airplane. A pop star is traveling back from Japan, and a typhoon happens, and they're worried that the plane is going to crash. So it's kind of an action comedy thriller that's happening up in a mile high in the air. The second film is called Top Star. It's from the actor Park Chung-hoon is making his directorial debut. So people are very curious to see how both of these films will fare, and if we do indeed have successful transitions, actors going behind the camera.
Now, Piers, this time around, I understand that instead of focusing as much on Korean films, it actually focused on broadening the Asian cinema scene. How is that doing so?
Well, the thing with Busan is there's an enormous program. Countries from all around the world. Of course, there's always been a lot of Korean films, a decent amount of Japanese films, and lots of European and American films. But up until now, while there have been many films from across Asia, there has been kind of a smaller representation from Southeast Asian countries or lesser-known countries even further afoot. So now they seem to have made a conscious effort to be more inclusive in Asia, and they've got this very exciting program this year. We opened with the film Vara, a Blessing, which is actually a Bhutanese film, and there's even a program on Asian lesser-known countries. Countries featured in this program include Kazakhstan and Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. So these are countries that you don't normally see films from. So it's very exciting to discover new things. And plenty of films from the Philippines and Thailand and Taiwan. A lot of films that people are buzzing about. Films that have been seen at Venice and Toronto recently. So it's a really broad, eclectic program, and you have to hand it to the programming team for having really gone all out to discover cinema from all corners of the earth.
Okay, I believe it's important to honor the pioneers in the industry, and I understand one of the most respected filmmakers in Korea, Im Kwon-taek, will have a very special segment dedicated to him, and he will be honored. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Certainly, Im Kwon-taek is known to many. He is the godfather of the Korean film industry. He's made 101 films, which is just a remarkable achievement. He's been a very prolific, busy director since the 60s. He's reinvented himself as well as the industry as a whole, time and time again. He was making all these commercial films in the 60s and 70s, making them pretty quickly. In the 80s, he made the first movies that ended up on the international festival circuit, films like Mandara or The Surrogate Woman, which the star of which, Kang So-young, won an award for Best Actress in the Venice Film Festival in the 80s. That was a big new thing for a Korean film, winning an award at a big event like that. And in the 90s, he made Seopyeonjae, which was the first film to cross 1 million viewers in Korea, and is considered by many to be the greatest Korean film ever made. And so now he's still working. He's all the time. He's evident in the Korean film industry. And even today, there was a press conference announcing his 102nd film, which will go into production very soon. So it's really remarkable that he's had this huge influence on the industry. The retrospective this year, 70 films in the retrospective. Now, not all of those are showing during the festival. Many were shown in the weeks leading up to the festival here in Busan. So to have 70 films is pretty incredible. And another exciting thing is that a lot of these films are being introduced by some of the other luminaries of the Korean film industry, such as directors Lee Chang-dong and Roo Sung-won and Bong Joon-ho. So these all sound, it's obviously great films introduced by really interesting people who probably have some great insights on them. It's a great retrospective, and I, for one, hope that I'll get to catch a few of the films in the lineup.
All right, thank you, Pierce, for taking us beyond the velvet rope and highlighting the significance of the Busan International Film Festival.
I hope you have fun for the rest of the remainder of the celebrations, and we hope to see you right back here in Seoul real soon.